It feels good to be back. You guys wouldn't know this, but I haven't recorded a video in about 6 days, actually going on a full week. The reason why that is because unfortunately our basement flooded. Our sump pump went out during a couple days worth of rain, so of course at the worst time possible, and it got pretty wet down here. So I've been dealing with that. Obviously my recording room studio is down here. A good amount of the carpet had to be ripped up, the padding had to be removed. They brought in 20 fans and a big dehumidifier, so it's been non-stop crazy down here. It's been 100 degrees down here, literally over 100 degrees, and like 10% humidity or something like that they were getting the reading from. So yeah, it hasn't been the best recording conditions, that's for sure. We're just about done dealing with that though. There are still a few fans running. Hopefully you can't really hear them too much. But that's why I keep a heavy backlog. I've got, at one point I had 15 or so videos pre-recorded, maybe a bit more, and that's where it comes in handy. But anyway, it feels good to be back in front of the camera. It's been a while, and I figured why not kick this back off and really get back into the flow by going over some beast mode fragrances. When you take a look at the majority of fragrances out there that your average everyday person is wearing, they're usually going to last around 5 hours or so. I would say if you ask just your average guy out there, hey, how long do you think fragrances for men or colognes normally last? They'd probably say, I don't know, 5-6 hours something. What if I told you could get double? You could get 12 hours of longevity out of fragrances. Well, that's possible, and we've got 10 of them here. Let's go and start off with this one, Stronger With You Absolutely by Armani. Vanilla, chestnut, and rum are some of the main notes. Really nice one. It's easily my favorite out of the entire lineup by far. I love the rum edition. I love that they bring the chestnut back. This one, it has a parfum concentration, hence the Absolutely name that they got going on here. So they cover all of the bases. This happens to be the highest concentrated. It happens to be my favorite scent-wise, but also the best performing on my skin, and that's what we're looking for here. If all you care about is longevity, these are the ones you want to look at. And kind of following that trend of a parfum, you know, something that's going to be the richest of the line, we have Fahrenheit Le Parfum. So this one has, of course, the signature violet leaf. It's got rum, suede, all of that good stuff in here. Vanilla, I really like it. It kind of is this unique combination of fresh and sweet, a little bit gourmand in some instances, which sounds kind of weird, but it is to me. Really just a nice mashup. And of course, the main idea behind this is going to be longevity. It's 12 plus hours on my skin, any day, anytime. It just works. We're going to go with the newest release out of this entire video here, and one that just now finally became available. I have been chomping at the bit to try this one. It was announced a good while ago, and just within not even the past month, within the past couple weeks or something, it finally became available here in the United States. It's Mancera Intense Cedrat Boisé. Leather, blackcurrant, citrus, and oud. So you get the upgraded pressurized atomizer and the upgraded magnetic cap here with this one as well. You ask anyone that's been around on my channel for a long time, ever since the beginning, or even more recently, they would be able to confirm that Cedrat Boisé, the original, the EDP, is one of my favorite niche fragrances. It was my first niche fragrance, and to get an intense, pure parfum flanker was something that I could not wait to try. This here, this is amazing. It brings in oud a little bit, but it's not medicinal like some of the other Mancera ouds. You know, some like red tobacco, even oud lemon mint, and a few others that use the note heavily, or at least a good amount of the note, will give off a medicinal smell. The oud here is compounded much different. It kind of has more of a smoothness. You get a little bit more of a sweetness. You still get that rich blackcurrant, citrus, good amount of leather in here, but I mean, when you look at that atomizer, I mean, when you spray it, you're getting Cedrat Boisé, but you're getting Cedrat Boisé turned up to 11. I mean, this stuff packs a punch. It's strong. The EDP will get you 12 plus hours. This one here, it's going to go even longer than that. Wow, is all I have to say. We're going to go with a Sauvage up next, just for the heck of it, and this is Sauvage Parfum. Sandalwood, bergamot, olibanum. You could go with any Sauvage here. At least, again, on my skin. As you guys should understand, hopefully this is on my skin. A lot of other people get similar performance out of this stuff, but it's kind of on a person-to-person basis. So just kind of how this works. You would think that would be obvious, but apparently it's not sometimes. For me, any Sauvage, EDT, EDP, the new Elixir, but I kind of talk about those a good amount. I don't talk about the Parfum as much. So I wanted to throw it in, you know. This is a more mature take and less pungent, sharp, strong, peppery take on the original Sauvage. It's more mature than the EDT and EDP, but yet it's not as mature as the new Elixir. So it kind of finds a middle ground there. It's a Parfum concentration. It performs as such. Projection's a little bit lower. Longevity is higher though. 12 plus hours without breaking a sweat. And again, for me, I get that out of any of the Sauvages. Even the EDT, that one's always been a huge performer on me. Back to more of a wintertime fragrance here. We have Spice Bomb Extreme by Victor and Rolf. Tobacco, vanilla, black pepper. You guys know the deal. It just works. If I had to choose, I don't know, 3 winter fragrances on the designer side to keep and wear forever, Spice Bomb Extreme would be in that conversation every single time. That's how much I like it. And you guys know I've got a lot of fragrances. It just works. It's that original Spice Bomb DNA, but improved, mature, a little bit more smooth. I still like the original Spice Bomb, but you know, sometimes it can be a bit too playful, a bit too loud, that sort of thing. This one is simply just more grown up, and I think in a lot of instances that's what makes a flanker a good flanker. You know, if you have a scent that's maybe a bit out there, very loud, and they're able to kind of smooth it out and kind of bring it to a level where some other people can enjoy it, a different crowd of people can enjoy it, I think that's when they really hit home runs. And if you look at a lot of the successful flankers, a lot of them do that. And kind of like this one here, YSL Le Parfum. Apple, sage, lavender, and aldehydes are some of the main notes. I love it. Absolutely love this one. I'm a big fan of the EDP, of course, but this one here takes it to the next level. It's even more aromatic, even more smooth. You still get that apple sweetness up top, but it's not as glorified as in the EDP. I mean, when you spray the EDP on right off the rip, you get hit with apple sweetness, amberwood right off the bat. It's a bit overpowering for some people who aren't really into the blue fragrance thing. And if you want a more aromatic focused version of that, then go with this one. Heavy on the sage, heavy on the lavender. I really like the kind of more mature masculine take that this one kind of brings on. It's aldehydic as well, very airy, and even though it sounds like it has a good amount of richness, it could still be warm weather appropriate. I'm not afraid to wear this one in the summertime. Some people would be. That's okay. For me, it works. It's been working here as it's been really warming up pretty quickly, and performance, it's no joke. This one here is another monster. Like, this is the type of fragrance that kind of similar to the Mancera we were talking about earlier, where it just goes. Like, it doesn't even break a sweat. This one will reach the 12-hour mark and just be getting warmed up. And that's Carlisle by Parfums de Marly. Patchouli, vanilla, and nutmeg are some of the main notes. It smells a little bit like Mancera's red tobacco, but also quite a bit different as well. It does have this oriental spiciness, but a little bit more of like a creaminess from the woods, the Gaiac wood, like a sandalwood in here, but again, still spicy, oriental. The idea behind this one is it is an absolute monster of a scent. I'm pretty sure this is only, it's an eau de parfum, so it's not even a pure parfum or anything like that. And that just goes to show that you could have EDTs that perform better than parfums and vice versa, right? Concentration doesn't always mean good performance necessarily, but in this instance, an EDP is getting it done. One of the stronger fragrances in my collection, niche and designer, red tobacco, of course could have been in this list, but it's predictable. This one though, really, really good, and one of my favorites from Parfums de Marly. We're going to go with another newer flanker, Azzaro the Most Wanted Parfum. Bourbon, vanilla, ginger, and woodsy notes are the 3 notes that they give you for this one. Love the look of the bottle because it looks like Azzaro Wanted by Night, but just, you know, with a darker gray finish and darker tint to the glass down here. Maybe not tint to the glass, rather tint to the juice itself. As you can see, that is the juice that's adding the coloration. The bottle does have a little bit of a black tint to it, but, you know, that's what it looks like. Doesn't really smell like that, though. You know, it's more similar to Azzaro the Most Wanted, you know, all blacked out bottle. But I like this one better. I like the bourbon vanilla, the spicy ginger kind of gives it a little bit of a bright kick up top. You know, ginger can really be used and make something that's nice and gentlemanly and kind of traditional in some way and just more mature. And I think that's what this one does very well, without going too mature to take it too far away from the DNA, but also it's not too playful either. It finds a middle ground, heavy dose of woods in here. It really is everything that you would expect from a parfum version. And for me, I would take this over the Most Wanted any day. Wanted by Night, it's still hard to beat. That one really has me hooked, but this one comes in right behind it. And of course, performance, I've been getting 12 plus hours out of this one very easily. Which reminds me that I need to go ahead and shoot my full review on this one. It's been out for a good while. I've had it for a while, but I never have done a full review. And it's kind of summer now, but whatever. Up next, we have Dior Homme Intense, second to last here. We have Iris, we have Ambrette, Lavender. Oh, I love it. Every time I smell it, it's like the first time. I'm like, oh yeah, Dior Homme Intense. You know, it never gets boring. It never gets old. Never ceases to amaze me. This is just one of those fragrances on the designer side that still impresses so many people, both new to the community and people who have been in the community for a long time. This one is one that really captivates people. It's a good performer on my skin. There's all talk about reformulation, watered down, different batches and stuff. I've got older bottles, I've got newer bottles. It all works for me. I get 12 hours out of this one. One thing to keep in mind is it has never been a huge projector on my skin. Mostly going to be more of a trail lever, closer to the skin, but leaves a sillage, and also it really excels in the longevity category the most. And we're going to finish this one off with kind of an office scent here, more of a springtime one. It's Terre d'Hermes Parfum. Orange, woods, oak moss, and grapefruit are some of the main notes. It's Terre d'Hermes, you guys know it, but in a pure parfum version. It's strong, it's earthy, it's woody, it's got that dirty orange smell that people describe it as. It is really kind of your gentleman's office scent. If you're up for a little bit of a challenge, some people won't like it, both the person wearing it, yourself, and the people around you. It could be a bit much, especially the parfum. If you overspray, which, you know, might want to be careful with it. It is strong. You could end up offending people. You know, it's a little bit out there for some, especially if you're coming from some of these other ones here that are sweet bombs and, you know, very mass pleasing. So be careful with it, but the parfum here performs very strong on my skin. 12 hours, no problem. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. That's 10 fragrances to buy if all you want is 12 hours longevity. I will provide links to all these down below to discounters. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.